Welcome to the Principles of Management course, week 4. Communication is the manager's job. Today's complex business environment depends on effective communication. Managers spend approximately 80% of their day communicating. 48 minutes of every hour is spent on the telephone, communicating online, or talking informally. Communication with candor. It is important when communicating with candor to be very confident and to use a positive approach, using I statements versus you statements, sticking to the facts, and being very, very clear, specific, and direct in your request. Nonverbal communication are things such as body expression, facial expressions, gestures, touch, and space. In my family, when my father does this, we already know before he even speaks that he's not resonating with the discussion that's taking place. Moving from communication theory to change theory, Kurt Lewin is the author of the force field analysis. He authored it in 1939, and this is a change model referred to as a force field analysis. And the force field analysis, after identifying a problem and coming up with different interventions, is looking at the driving forces and the restraining forces per alternative. For example, the driving forces are the advantages or the opportunity, and the restraining forces are typically the disadvantages, the threats. So after arbitrarily allocating points, whatever intervention has the most amount of points is the proposed alternative. Now, once you have proposed an alternative, it's important to understand how to implement change and why individuals resist change. So I'm going to start with the definition, the need for change, which is the disparity between existing and the desired performance level. I'm going to address the first three: self-interest, lack of understanding and trust, and uncertainty. If the change is to be implemented, one may resist because they're concerned about how it will impact their job, if they'll have the skill set, if the company will require training so that those who work there can acquire the new skill set. Others may just have a lack of understanding of the change itself. And so that can be resolved by having a question answer type of forum. Another reason to resist change is trust. Maybe the members of the organization simply do not trust the CEO or upper management. And then uncertainty. They may understand the change, however, they're uncertain that the particular change being proposed may not move the organization any further along than status quo, what it currently is. Moving from change to Maslow to employee motivation. This is Maslow's hierarchy of need. There's 5 levels to that need: physiological, safety, belonging, esteem, and self-actualization. And there's a definition to each of these. But what Maslow is proposing is that one cannot accomplish the self-actualization needs until the other 4 needs are met: the physiological, safety, belonging, esteem. And then once each of those are met, someone can attain self-actualization needs. So let's take a look at the 5 needs. So it's saying physiological, the need for an hourly wage or a salary. Safety needs, the need to have a safe environment. Benefits, job security. Belonging needs, the need to belong to coworkers, clients, employer. The esteem needs recognition, approval, high status, increased responsibility, and then the 5th need is opportunity for advancement, autonomy, etc. Now, this next theorist, who is Clayton Alderfer, and he has the ERG theory, and the E stands for existence needs, the R is relatedness needs, and the G is growth needs. And very similar, it's three needs versus 5, but Alderfer proposes a modification to Maslow's theory because of its lack of empirical verification. So there's 2 different models of employee motivation. The third one and there's two more that you'll watch in concept clips on mindset. But the third is McClelland's theory of motivation. And he says either a person is motivated by achievement, affiliation, or power. And so in MindTap, there's a survey that you can take. You answer the survey, the computer calculates the numbers, and it will tell you if you're motivated by power, affiliation, and achievement. Now I'm moving from employee motivation to Tuckman's stages of team development. And those stages are forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. And in the forming stage, group members are getting acquainted. There's no conflict. They're just trying to understand the norms. Maybe they're setting up norms. Maybe one of those norms is we will meet every Saturday morning at 8 o'clock for the next 6 weeks. Or maybe we will respect each other in our communication. Or maybe it's after 3 weeks, 50% of our assignment will be completed. Storming, if conflict is to exist, it will exist in the second stage of team development. Norming is when the team has come, after they've gone through the conflict, they've come back together, they're cohesive, and then they're on stage and ready to perform. And you'll see a great deal of cooperation and problem solving. The fifth stage was added in 1979, which is the adjourning stage, and that's after that's when the project or the task is completed. Now, for each of these stages of team development, there are task and maintenance roles. The task roles are things such as initiating ideas, giving opinions, seeking information, summarizing, and energizing. The maintenance type of roles is encouraging, harmonizing, retention, reducing, following, and compromising. So the socio-emotional role is also referred to as the maintenance roles. And there's definition in year 6 for each of the 10 roles here. Now, I'm moving from Tuckman's stages of team development to the theoretical area of conflict. It's important to identify the types of conflict first. I'm going to list just 4 of them. One is boundary conflict, tangible conflict, persuasive conflict, and values conflict. The tangible conflict is usually over money. That can be resolved through negotiations. The boundaries conflict is usually over task and responsibilities, and that means getting together, communicating with the supervisor, and both parties indicating, what they believe their task and responsibilities would be, and then the supervisor making a final decision about that. The perceptual needs is resolved through communication, and then the values need, the most difficult one to resolve, is someone's values. I am pro-life or pro-choice. I am pro-Christian education or private education, or public education, I mean. And but then we go to address the styles, which is the visual that you have, and there's 5 different styles, with the key style being compromising. So the dominating style is saying my way or no way. The avoiding style is usually someone who doesn't like to address conflict, who just avoids the conflict altogether. That can be a rather difficult person. The accommodating is saying, I don't want to deal with conflict, whatever you guys want to do, thinking that issue or problem would resolve quicker if the person just yields to the others on the team. And then the collaborating is our way, and the goal is to compromise halfway, some of your way and some of my way. Now, there's 3 things I want to address in reaching win-win solutions. First, separate the people from the problem. The second, focus on interests, not the current demands. And the third is to generate as many alternatives or interventions possible for mutual gain. This next slide is your paper. It's worth 200 points. It's also listed in your course outline. If you have questions about the assignment, please call me or write me. I wish you the very best, and see you next week.